Ndodomzi Jonathan Ntutu is currently the fastest ever para-athlete in South Africa. The visually impaired sprinter posted an impressive 10.80 in 2018 at the Commonwealth Games. He won bronze in London 2012, silver in Rio 2016 Olympics. He joins us now to talk to us about his preparations for the 2023 World Champs and Paris 2024. Ndodomzi, thank you so much for joining us. How are the preparations for everything going, especially because now it's a World Champs year and, of course, the big one being Paris 2024?
Thanks for having me. The preparation up until this point has been a bit seamless. Myself and my coach are currently happy for where we are currently at. And we know that the big goal is actually 2024, which is the Paris Paralympic Games. But before then, we do have the World Championships, which is in early July this year.
I mean, just to take us back a bit, you are 37 years old now. You've been to 4 Paralympic finals. You have a bronze and a silver. What would be the goal for Paris 2024? Gold, obviously.
I definitely need that gold because it's the one medal that's missing out of my collection. So for us, we're always going to competitions or high quality competitions looking to make sure that we get into a final and be on the podium for the gold medal. But at the moment, the current goal for current World Championships, as we as a squad for South Africa need to generate slots as for the Paralympic Games, which is next year, we need to make sure that we get into the top 4 because top 4 is where you can generate a slot for your country. So we need as many slots as available for us as a country to get for next year's Paralympic Games. But for myself, I know a slot will generate for my country, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I get on the podium regardless of whether I generate a slot or not.
You obviously have that experience of being at the Paralympics, but what are some of the challenges as a visually impaired athlete, just on a daily basis to prepare yourselves for World Champs, Olympics, and so on?
For myself, I can't drive, and that is one of the biggest challenges that I do face on a daily basis in terms of getting to the training and so on, even at the gym. But at the same time, for us, we are dependent on financial assistance. And the financial assistance has been quite bleak in the last few years. We have been struggling as athletes to make sure that, listen here, you got food on the table and that you can try and get to the competitions where you need to be. So for us this year, I've myself partnered with matchkit.co. They are trying to help us as athletes in terms of raising a crowdfund that will assist us as athletes so you can get to those competitions, so you can get your nutrition valued as an athlete on a daily basis, as well as your physios and your gym sessions. So with MatchKit coming on board, trying to assist us, not just for this year, but trying to assist us in the long term in terms of getting the South African public to get involved and help us as athletes is something that's quite special this year that will hopefully propel us as athletes and make sure that we get all out what we need for the competitions and leading up to Paris 2024.
I understand that partnership with MatchKit started with a simple tweet. Tell me about that.
I've received actually a friend of mine out of Gazi sent me a copy of a tweet that came from Mike Sharman, and the Mike Sharman was trying to get athletes on board and trying to help athletes. So for me, that's where I learned about matchkit.co. So for me, what I've learned from them is that they are there to assist athletes, and they've done that in the past quite successfully. And so I believe they are a South African brand or kind in South Africa to help athletes. So as a brand in South Africa that people need to know about and try to know that the senior, it's a safe brand that you can help. They are here to help athletes. So for athletes to get that necessary funding.
So, I mean, you talk about the support match kit and you talk about the financial challenges. I mean, just yesterday we saw SASCOC also relaunching Operation Excellence. I mean, does that also help for athletes like yourself to at least get that assistance going forward?
That will definitely help athletes to get that funding, to know that there is funding available. But at the moment, we still are waiting the broader background of what the funding and who the funding will be for. So for myself, if I'm going to sit and wait and listen here, time is running out. So I need to get to World Championships. I need to qualify and make sure that, listen here, I can get there. So with Match Kit, we are already in a process of getting there. So our athletes have already on the way to getting better match fit as athletes.
Not to be an ageist, but again, at 37 years old, Ndodomzi, do you still feel that you have the speed in the legs?
I doubted myself for quite some time. I thought, listen here, this young generation are going to catch up quite quickly. But then I learned and realized that, listen here, if I'm looking after myself and work hard at what I'm doing, so that is the way I'm going to make sure that I still have the legs to make sure I can keep up and even beat it, all these youngsters are currently coming up.
I'm just out of curiosity, what does your training entail on a day-to-day basis? Are you a full-time athlete, or do you also, have other, employment and other things that you do on the side?
I currently am not employed in terms of full-time. What I do is try to work on myself in terms of becoming a better athlete on a day-to-day basis. So for me, if the thing is, when you are an athlete, if you work hard only on what your craft is, that's where you're gonna reap the most of the benefits. But at the same time, some are able to do it, work on a daily basis as well as doing their training. Others, we need to know that, listen here, if you put in every day and work hard on you, I will be confident when I step on the line and make sure, listen here, I'm ready to go.
Is there enough competition, enough challenge at home for an athlete like yourself? I mean, currently ranked #1 in the world. We spoke about your first time that you set in 2018. But you feel that there's enough challenge that, allows you to perform at your peak consistently and constantly?
For myself, I like to challenge myself a lot. So what I do is on a daily or monthly basis where there's competitions in the Western Province or in the Boland, I will go there and challenge the able-bodied athletes. And because a lot of them are quite faster than I am. But I know that I'm preparing myself and measuring myself against the current that are better than me at that moment. That normally gives me a better indication in terms of how I will fare against the ones that I really need to face up in the rest of the world.
Ndodomzi, thank you so much for coming through to talk to us, and best of luck in the World Champs and Paris 24.